Okay. Clearly, having this mounted on the tripod, it's not going to function. You're not going to be able to work. I'm not going to be able to show you what I want to. Just go by my notes here really quick. I've got the Vibram outsole. Oh, this is Unit 13, and why I chose this boot, the Marine Expeditionary Boot, is the boot I'm going to be wearing for years to come. It's what it looks like. They're worth every penny I paid for it to this point. We'll find out 6 months or a year from now also. Alright, back to the boot. It's got this Vibram outsole. Perfect for my needs. Except for this rocking, which is in another segment of video. Goodyear welt. Oops, let me get this camera down. Goodyear welt all the way around. Not just sewn part of the way like I see in some of these other boots. What about the heel coming off or something? I don't know what that's all about. Sewn all the way around. Wow, that is... I tell you what, trying to shoot this, that is pretty amazing. Trying to pull that off, I feel like an acrobat. Now, on to the next part of the list. The leather upper and Cordura. This stuff seems to be holding up really well, and as the days are passing, darn it, as the days are passing, you can see that this is there's a lot of more flexibility in this boot, and goodness, sorry about that. Comfort. Let's see what else. What you can't see is the Gore-Tex Liner. Seems to be working, because I sprayed these boots down the other day and they didn't get wet. This didn't soak through. So, but at this point, the Gore-Tex Liner's working. And since I'm at this exact point in the boot, no vents. Every boot I've ever put on, I had an original pair of Vietnam issue jungle boots with vents, and I think I wore those maybe 2 weeks at most before I stopped wearing them, because every time I had to step through a puddle, I got wet feet. And so much for the vents, because my feet didn't dry quickly. They stayed wet the rest of the day, which is why I got rid of the boot. What is on the list? Yeah, so no vents. Oh, lace adjustability. Let's see if I can bring the camera right. When I first started wearing the boots, I over-tightened it in a few places down here, causing pressure points along the edge of my foot. So just with some fine-tuning and adjustment, I can get it tightened up the right way here in this section of the boot over this part of my foot. And then I can keep this tight, which holds this down around my ankle, and supports across the arch here. This is really nice to have that dip. It really snugs it up where you want it. Makes it feel like the boot's on your foot. And then these speed laces here work really nice, because you can pull them up all at once. I think I showed that in one of my other videos. And it's not like you just want to jerk this thing up, pull it all up at once, and you're going to be happy with it. You're not. You can see that there's differences here in the width. It'll make a difference in comfort. And then I also noted how on the, let's see if I can do this. On this left side here, this wrap, one of these wraps of the lace was across this loop. Oops, just like it is on this boot, and it was causing me all kinds of problems. It was putting all kinds of pressure here. Well, let me go over here. Actually, here on my leg, it was unbearable. Once I figured out what was going on, you can see I made this adjustment here, and no more problems. Just doesn't bother me at all. Excuse me. Doesn't bother me in the slightest bit. So let's see if I covered everything. We got the outsole. Oops. Okay, we got the outsoles, the uppers, the Goodyear welt, Gore-Tex Liner, which you can't see. No vents versus vents. I'll skip the vents because when I was living in New Mexico, I still had to step through water, oddly enough. You may not think that you're going to come across water and have to step in it, but if you have vented boots, suddenly you have wet feet for a long time. Even in those dry climates, it takes a while to dry. Which is another reason I'm glad they don't have a lot of extra padding inside these boots, because if they had a bunch of padding inside these boots, it'd take forever to dry. So thank goodness for that. And they are quite comfortable without it. They fit like a glove. I love this fit like a glove fit. Alright, so that's the vents, the lace, adjustability. I covered the rocking of the soles. I don't know about this. Over time that might bother me, but I'll just get used to it because the boots are so comfortable. And then there was also this ankle point where, when bending down, let me move my foot, in this position here, right here is where it creates that pressure point, and it may have also had to do with how tight the... Alright. Well, while we got cut off there, that was interesting to watch. We were somewhere about here. We switched over completely different. Let me make sure this is focused. We switched over to another little iPhone 5. So, pressure point. If you're knelt down for a while, this might start bothering you. You can shift around and move a little bit, and that does help. I don't know if I can demonstrate this tilting thing. Now, if I'm here and I need, let's say if I'm trying to pull somebody, if I'm trying to pull somebody from there to this direction, and I'm trying to fight that, I want all of the surface of this boot to make contact with the ground, not just this little section over here. So, I don't know how I like that, but like I said, I'll just get used to it over time. Pressure point covered, and let's see what the other thing was. And then, getting caught up in all kinds of cables. That lace loop, which, that's self-remedying if you just pay attention to it. That's all. So that's really a non-issue. It's just those little things that you deal with that make the boot more comfortable. I think that's about the end of it. Okay, here we are at this footage where it's super slow motion footage in an attempt to show this. It's ever so slight but completely noticeable when I'm in the boot. Is step down that foot, just as it comes down, there's a little bit of rocking motion, and then as that next foot comes up, that left foot comes up, there's a slight rocking motion. Because there's no flatness, so there's no place for it to stabilize. It wants to roll. It almost doesn't get visible until right at the beginning here. Or, right at the beginning. At the very end, the last couple steps kind of show it pretty good. See that subtle movement there? Watch that. Left foot. Slight rocking. Right foot comes down. It's not perfect, but watch that. See how there's a slight rolled motion to that.